The concept for the record, Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge, was the story of a man and a woman who are separated by death in a gunfight. And he goes to hell only to realize by the devil telling him that she's still alive. The devil says, you could be with her again if you bring me the souls of 1,000 evil men. And so he hands him a gun and he says, I'll go do it. That was the idea behind the concept. The record ended up being much more about loss in real life than anything. So I would say it's a good split.
What is up, my friends? Welcome to My Chemical Fancast. I'm Haley.
And I'm Kat.
And this is a podcast about all things My Chemical Romance. We are starting our revenge episodes today.
Hell yeah.
And we are beginning by ripping Gerard a new one about his
No,
concept.
we're not. We have some questions and some quibbles.
I think he got it wrong in the interview. Sometimes it happens, and that's okay. We can accept that he's made mistakes, but I was under the impression that the woman was the one that died and the man was alive.
Maybe it was just misogyny on our part, though.
I mean,
maybe we're just really sexist.
I don't know about that, Chief.
I don't know. It's suspicious to me because it's the opposite of how all of these stories go. Not by sex, but by who's dead and who's alive.
I don't know.
Because it's never that the dead person has to make a deal with the devil to become alive. That's never how that works.
Right. I mean, like Book of Life makes the deal to bring the woman back. Orpheus in the underworld.
It's always like that. Someone dies, and then the living person, part of the couple, makes a deal with the devil. You do some terrible thing to get them back.
Right.
Because I think the whole point is that, like, if you're dead, you don't have any agency. You know, what are you going to do?
Yeah, you're dead. Like,
so
that's fucked.
So it is strange to me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I don't know. I would need to, like, read more quotes about it or something to know if, like, he made a mistake or if he intended that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I remember the ending that he wanted to have for it was...
That's right. You're right. Yes. Okay. Gerard, you're wrong.
Can I go?
Yes. Sorry, I just remembered it and yeah, that makes sense.
The ending he wanted for it was that the man gets to his 999th soul and then he realizes that the last evil soul he has to give to the devil is his own.
And I think, hold on, I have the actual quote, hold on. Because I think he also includes the word suicide, which makes it specifically about a living person killing themselves.
I don't remember if there was...
Let me check.
Yeah, I don't remember if the word suicide was in there.
Let me check. Okay, this is the quote about it. Gerard says, so obviously he kills 999 evil men, and then he realizes the last evil man he has to kill is himself.
You can't die if you're already dead.
That's right. Okay, Gerard, you fucked up somewhere.
It's okay. He misspoke. And that happens, but I'm calling him the fuck out on it.
Well, I do like that we clarified it because I think I think a lot of people are under that impression that the woman is alive.
Right.
And I don't think it's supposed to be that way.
No, they're separated by death by the woman dying in Demolition Lovers is what happens.
Not to quibble with an artist about what they say.
They go down in a hail of bullets and the woman dies.
Yep.
Because why would the hero in his own story, aka Gerard, kill himself in the first concept record?
Why do you think Gerard is the hero in the story?
He's a writer. He puts a self-insert into everything. That's just what writers do.
I disagree with that.
Okay,
That's
okay.
fine.
We can agree to disagree.
But I also have a question here. So, they have this gunfight, goes very poorly. The woman dies.
Correct.
Even though Gerard says differently. He's wrong, and that's fine, and we accept him. But, so they have that song, Best Day Ever, on the Bullets record that has, a bunch of hospitals in it at the top. And it should be in Revenge. Because then it makes more sense of, the man wakes up in a hospital, realizes that his lover is dead, and is sucks.
Well, I mean, Best Day Ever, as we discussed, is about two people falling in love and running away and having a great day together and burning shit down. So we already have also discussed that...
But the hospital doesn't make any sense there.
We have discussed that Bullets is a record that lacks direction and cohesiveness.
I think. And The Revenge picture disc has a picture of a woman on a gurney.
Yes.
Probably in a morgue, but still.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yes. So we've established that the woman dies.
The woman dies.
All right.
Don't believe Gerard when he says the woman's alive.
No, he's a liar.
He's wrong about his own record.
All right. So now that we've got that covered,
Yes.
sufficiently covered,
Yes.
we got to dive into the music. And the first song on this record is Helena.
What's the worst thing I can say? Things are better if I stay. So long and good night. So long and good night.
What a banger. What a way to start off the record.
They're so good at first songs.
Yes. They're... Ugh, I'm so excited. This is the first song that I ever heard.
I think it's the first song I ever heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this when I was like 11 maybe on MTV. And I saw this music video and I was like a little scared by it. And but it stuck out, and that's not when I really got into them, but it's the first song that I heard. I didn't get into them until I was 13.
Oh, I heard them and I was all in. It's like, I'm committed to this.
Yeah, no, I didn't commit right away. I was still on my Broadway track when I was 11. I was listening to the Lion King soundtrack on repeat.
Oh, I knew a lot of you.
Yes.
I knew many of you.
I was in show choir. I wasn't there yet. I hadn't reached my emo stage, but I got there when I was 13.
I was in choir, but I was an alto, and altos were cool. And sopranos, listen to Broadway tracks.
Listen, fuck you. I was an alto when I was in middle school.
You're a soprano at heart, and it shows.
I know. Yeah, well, I couldn't reach above an E5 when I was in middle school, so like I wasn't really that much of a soprano.
It was inside of you.
Mm-hmm. Inside my heart.
It's a state of mind.
The soprano is inside me the whole time. All right, so the music video first.
Okay, first, okay.
First, music video, because I want to cover this because I'm very excited about it.
All right. This is a landmark music video? Can we say that?
Yes.
I feel like that's not
Absolutely.
very debatable, right?
No.
It's a landmark video for this time period, for this genre of music. And it sort of, you know, we talked in our last episode, I think, or maybe the episode before, about how the definition of emo changed to mean a few different things. And that around this time in the early 2000s, it changed to apply to a look, an aesthetic, and that it was typically thought of as wearing a lot of black and red, wearing eyeliner, being sad. And
if you want to describe emo in about 4 minutes, you're gonna watch the Helena video, and
that's it. This is like where that comes from, kind of, and it gets like reinforced by videos that come after it and other videos of the time period. But like, this is the genre-defining and generation-defining video, at least in the eyes of the media.
Yeah,
like when they think of what emo music is, you think of this video,
right? It was pivotal in their career. They got onto MTV, which, for someone like them, I mean, that's, you know, it's a big deal.
Yeah, with their first record on a major label.
Yeah.
And their debut record no one listened to. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's insane.
And it brought in the theatrics for them they had a whole dance scene in the music video. And they brought those dancers, for a very short time, they brought those dancers on stage because Gerard was like, all right, we're going to pull out all the stops and we're going to bring all the theatrics on stage with us, and we're going to bring these dancers on tour. Obviously, it's not really doable, especially for a band that was just climbing the charts and had just dropped their first record on a major label. Not exactly doable to bring 20 dancers with you on tour.
You know.
But they did it for a couple shows, and Gerard obviously was super into it.
Yeah.
And I think it was cool. I don't know how well it fit with the entirety of the show, but I think for solo performances...
Probably not well. But...
No. I think for solo performances, it was good.
Yeah. Yeah, they really decided with this video and in Revenge, we're going to be a theatrical band. Like, we're just committing to that right now, which really works for them later. But, like, not to shit on other videos at the time. I'm not shitting on those videos, but there are other videos at the time that are well produced, that are big videos, like the Killers' Mr. Brightside video is like a big, I don't even know how to describe it. A bunch of people dressed up in very fancy costumes in like sort of this French 1800s setting. I don't know, some sort of masquerade. And like it's a good looking video that like obviously has a lot of effort put into it, but it's not something that the Killers carried over into their live shows. I don't mean literally as far as like having those people on stage, but I mean like the attitude.
Right.
So MCR definitely brought drama in their videos, and they also brought drama live, and I think that that's kind of a rare combination.
Yeah, who they were in the videos, they made that themselves. They made that into their own aesthetic on stage, and as a band in photo shoots and in interviews and all of that, that's who they became.
Yeah, it's really good. The people in the pews of that video and one of the pallbearers are all fans.
Yes.
I'm very jealous of them. That's not fair. My God.
Yeah.
If you are one of those people, please contact us so we can talk to you.
I want to interview you.
Yes. Are you the guy who carried the casket? Please, God, talk to us. I wonder if there's an interview with him anywhere. God, I want to know.
There's a small one when I think it's behind the scenes in Helena, and they talked to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm just a fan, and I went for the casting call, and I didn't know that I was going to be a pallbearer, but like here I am
to carry this casket."
And he was like, "Yeah, here I am, and all the guys are carrying it with me, and I'm really excited."
All the guys except for one.
Aw. He's doing his best. He's kind of carrying it.
I don't know if he's doing his best, but he is there.
If you don't already know, we're talking about Frank because he is so small that they said that he was not really carrying it. I think they're exaggerating a bit about his height because I mean he's 5'6", he's a grown man. Like,
as a short person who has been in groups to carry heavy objects, I don't carry anything ever. It's not because I don't want to, it's just because it happens.
That's really nice for you, isn't it?
I want to help. I just can't. Also, the rain in that video was not planned, it just happened. And thank God.
Yeah.
It's very
How
helpful.
fortuitous.
The dancer, her name is Tracy Phillips, and she appears later on to choreograph teenagers.
Yes, she does.
And she's killing it.
Yes, Tracy Phillips.
She was like an icon for a lot of teenage girls after that video.
People wanted to be her.
And she does a lot of good like face acting too.
Yeah.
When she like falls back dead into the casket.
Right. And I think that's just a dancer thing too, is when you're a dancer you have to do that face acting as well, because that's part of the dance is your face.
It's theater, man.
Yep. It's theater.
People didn't get that. It's very annoying. Mark Webb is the director, and he also does most of their Black Parade videos. And also he does I'm Not Okay.
And Ghost of You.
He has I'm Not Okay, Ghost of You, I Love You, Teenagers, and Blood.
God bless Mark Webb.
So good. He's like an honest to God director. He did 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
And the Spider-Man reboots. And he also directed Hilary Duff's video for her song Wake Up.
Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
Lizzie McGuire. He does a lot of other videos too, but that one was like,
yeah.
I see you.
I see you.
He also did, is it Jesse McCartney, whoever did Beautiful Soul?
Oh my God.
He did that
yeah,
video?
It's Jesse McCartney. Oh my gosh.
He's working everywhere.
It's amazing.
There's also a rumor. I remember hearing this, but I Googled it and wasn't able to find it, but it's also kind of a difficult thing to Google, that the casket in that video coincidentally looked really similar to Elena Rush's casket.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
But I don't know. I couldn't find anything to corroborate that, so I don't exactly know if that's
I
true.
don't know if that's 100% true, but I do remember hearing that. I don't remember where.
I don't remember where either. How did these things happen?
I don't know. They're cryptids. Is that all you got to say about the video?
Yes.
Okay.
Except, wait, I have one more thing to say.
Okay.
I just have a note in here. Frank's fedora is terrible and needs to go.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's my last bullet point for the video.
We need to let go of fedoras for this band.
They did really quickly. They learned that it wasn't good. They had a fedora in this video, and they had a fedora in like one of their photo shoots.
Yeah,
that was their worst photo shoot.
And Gerard refused to wear it. He was like, I'm not wearing this fucking hat.
And did Ray have one too? He might have. I don't fucking know.
Think.
It was really bad. I don't like that one.
Yeah.
No one does.
It's funny though. Okay. All right. So we talked about the video. We talked about the aesthetics. Now we're going to talk about what is the song about.
Yes. So we already mentioned Elena Rush, who is Gerard's grandmother. And I think we've mentioned before that he was on Bullet's tour, and like on the last day of his tour, he got home. She was sick in the hospital. He said that he would see her the next day and went to sleep and woke up and she had passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of the genesis of this song and of this video.
None of the album really guided the album.
Because he missed seeing her and he felt really responsible for that. And he said that he had a lot of self-hatred about it. Mm-hmm. And also probably just a lot of self-hate in general. Elena had been the one to really encourage him musically
Mm-hmm.
and encourage him to sing. And I think she also encouraged him in other creative pursuits. So that really touched him deep when she passed.
So Gerard's quote about this song, kind of what it was about and what inspired it, he said, "I have had a lot of self-hate. The most recent example was the song Helena. It's about why I wasn't around for this woman who is so special to me, why I wasn't there for the last year of her life. Self-hate is always a big part of the lyrics. I've felt like that all my life. I don't know why, but I've always hated myself. Hopefully that self-hate is growing into something else now. Hopefully it's grown into caring about myself and wanting to stay alive." And on the death of his grandmother, I have another quote. He said, "That was the worst moment of my life. I also think losing my grandmother and the drinking were probably connected. When I quit, I could see myself clearly and I wasn't sure how much I liked it. I wasn't confident about anything, I was just depressed. Also, when you get sober, everyone is very honest about everything you've done. That can be
shit.
hard." Yeah.
Oh, dude.
So,
Yeah, I think you can really tell in this song, especially in the first verse after the music really comes in.
mhm.
And it's those lines of like, burning on just like the match you strike to incinerate the lives of everyone you know. I feel like the pronoun you in that is talking to himself.
Yeah, that's a self thing.
Yeah, I feel like he really feels that was a self-destructive person, someone who breaks hearts, someone that ruins lives, which is obviously ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really heavy.
But I think it's just something he felt about himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not someone who's along for the ride a lot. He's usually the leader in whatever he tends to do,
Mm-hmm.
especially with, band-related things, because he started this band. So I feel like he takes a lot of responsibility for it, even in the bad ways. And so I think he felt really personally responsible for coming back from tour and missing her.
Right. But apart from the meaning of this song, the way it's written is you can tell that they were sat down by someone and they said, "All right, listen, you guys, you got to learn how to write a song, and it's called a chorus, and you need
the
one."
whole album, yeah.
They learned how to write a hook, my dude.
They went in for the choruses. Their
Yeah.
choruses are so strong.
So strong in
And
this
plentiful.
album. Yes. And it's a heavy song, and it's the lyrics are a little abstract. If you don't know what it's about, you're kind of like, okay, like I don't understand what you're talking about, because he changes point of view a lot.
Yes.
In the lyrics, he's talking about himself to himself, or he's talking about his grandmother, or he's talking about his brother or something, but you're not really aware of where he's changing the point of view unless you really examine the lyrics and you know what he's talking about. But in the actual structure of the song, it's super accessible to a casual listener, and the melodic lines are really easy to sing along with, for the most part anyway. In Revenge, his melodic lines get a lot easier for people to
they become a
sing
lot
to.
stronger, because in
Yeah.
Bullets they had this problem. Well, they had this trait where the guitars were really kind of the focus of the song a lot, even though, and sometimes they competed with Gerard's vocals. And in Revenge, the vocals are really brought forward to be the
Right.
focal point of the song.
And you can tell it's Howard's influence too, because Howard,
yeah.
as we talked about, has the tendency to put the focus on the singer and make the singer kind of the focal point of the album and of the recording process. And you can tell that he really brought that out in Gerard and was kind of focusing on him as an artist and was like, all right, what can I get out of you? What kind of emotional performance can I get out of you?
Yeah, and that's definitely a more sort of mainstream trade of music, which isn't bad, but it's why songs get catchy and why they're on the radio.
Right. And the chord structure itself is nothing revolutionary. Like, it's just a regular 1 4 5 6 5 1. Like, it's like, if you know chord structures, that's the chord structure for everything, for every pop song. If you listen to Adele, if you listen to Beyonce, you listen to Kelly Clarkson, like everything, that's the chord structure for everything. And that's part of what makes it accessible, though, to listen to and to sing along with. That's part of what makes it accessible, is that basic chord structure, but they put so much theatricality in the music itself and in the production and in the vocals that it sets it apart.
Yeah. And he's also doing a lot more singing.
Yeah.
and a lot less screaming. Like
Yes.
there's still some screaming involved in Revenge, but it's usually a very small amount.
Yeah, it's way toned down.
I think his range on this album really increases as far as like how he
Yes.
uses it. And there's also a lot more backing vocals in the tracks, like a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the worst to take from every heart you break? And like the blade, yeah, of stain, well, I've been holding on tonight. What's the worst that I can say?
There's a lot of harmonies going on,
Mm-hmm.
way more than Bullets.
Yeah, it's like they discovered multi-tracking for the first time, and
Oh,
they're
and
like,
they used
oh.
it. They used the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
There's also a thing where Howard Benson, and I am not a producer and know nothing about music producing, but he was sort of, I believe, the forefront of using Pro Tools in music production.
Okay.
So I think that has something to do with it as far as like how the album is produced and how, like, they definitely did some multi-tracking in Bullets, but I think they did a lot less of it and used it in different ways than they did in Revenge. And I feel like Howard was very much, record this part, don't worry about it, we're going to piece it together
Right.
to make it sound differently. So I think it's a different approach to production that lended a lot to the future sound of their career.
Yeah.
And the guitars have been simplified quite a bit. They used to be really intricate and overlapping in a way that's a little bit hard to track with your ears.
Mm-hmm.
And now they make a lot more sense, and they're only highlighting one thing at a time. There's a lot less of this like crazy metal shit just randomly in a verse.
Yeah. Ray had to reel it in a little bit.
He reeled it in a lot. Listen, I love Bullets. Like, I'm not saying it's a problem, Bullets,
Right.
but
No,
it's definitely different.
Yeah, it's definitely different. And I think Ray and Frank worked together so cohesively on this album.
Mhm.
And they really fell into a groove with one another with writing parts and counter melodies
Yeah.
kind of interweaving with one another.
Yeah, and their guitars are still, even though they're simpler, they're definitely still unique. And the way they use them is very unique. Like the beginning guitar and end guitar, the rhythm strumming on that
Yeah.
is very My Chemical Romance. They do that for a few songs. And I feel like I don't hear that a lot from
Mhm.
other bands. Maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't come to mind.
Yeah.
It's a lot more punk, oddly enough. It's also a lot more pop.
Yeah, it's way more pop.
Some critics also described Revenge as a rock opera,
Yeah.
which isn't wrong, but they did not know that Black Parade was coming down
they
the pike.
They didn't know what was coming for them.
They had no idea.
They had not seen a rock opera from My Chemical Romance.
This is very much like the most rock opera song on the record, I think, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like it being placed as a beginning song because all of their beginning songs are, one, hard-hitting songs, but two, I think they also function as an introduction to the album, like kind of like in a book, the introduction before you get to the book, because they all seem to be very distinct. Like in Black Parade, you have the combo of The End and Dead, and in Danger Days you have Sing, and those are both very distinct from the rest of the album. And I think that Helena is also very distinct from the rest of the album.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy that.
Yeah.
It's a theme. I notice it. I like it.
Mm-hmm. On purpose.
I've got one more thing.
Okay.
It's about religion.
Ooh, here we go. We're getting back into it.
There's a lot less to say about religion on this album than the last one, I think, so far.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. But this video especially, this video is meant to be a funeral because of the concept of the song. But it could have been a funeral in like a graveyard.
Mhm.
Could have been a procession. It's not. It's a church. It's a service. It's very odd, don't you think?
Seems like a deliberate choice there was made.
A little bit. I feel like it's less like a take on religion than the drama of the church and the building they were in.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that this was sort of their entrance into being a more dramatic band. I think that there's sort of like, when you go into a church like that or cathedral, because that church in particular is very high ceilings,
Yeah.
big stained glass windows, you got this pulpit of dark wood. It's like a very towering feeling you get.
It's a real church you can visit in LA.
It sure is. And I think that Gerard took that towering feeling because he also, like, at some point in the video is behind the pulpit.
He's behind it for a lot of it, and I do have something to say about that. It kind of sets him up as a quote unquote emo messiah from from this point onward.
thought you were going to say. Oh my goodness. I don't know about you, Messiah. I don't know about that, but
I mean, we're at least at like a preacher level right now. Like
a
maybe,
preacher level, yes.
Maybe we get into emo Messiah and Black Parade.
That's where it really comes in. There we
but
go.
We're on preacher level right now, where he's
Maybe-
at the pulpit and he's herding his flock and telling them to stand and sit and sing and mourn and whatever.
I feel like the Messiah part comes in more in Danger Days because of Black Parade, he's dead. But in Danger Days, he's alive and suffering. But anyway.
That's a hot take right there. That's what that is.
But I feel like he definitely drew on the drama of religion and of churches and used that as like a visual cue to the listener.
Mm-hmm.
Of this is what this band's going to be. And also that he was behind the pulpit and he brings that into his stage presence too, of sometimes acting like a preacher, sometimes dressing like a preacher, sometimes doing like a call and response thing with the audience, sometimes doing these little weird gospel moments that are so blessed.
Correct.
So it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's all for Helena.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Track 2, Give 'Em Hell.
I'll say it about the whole damn album, but like for this one, to be honest, they didn't have to go that hard though.
Yeah, they did. Give 'Em Hell starts, like, the reason I feel like there's a separation between Helena and the rest of the album is because Give 'Em Hell, I feel, is more representative of how the album sounds, where it's like fast and hard hitting.
Yeah.
Give 'Em Hell does not quit.
No,
It says
not.
the album has begun.
Yeah.
Sit down.
That bass line though, the bass really leads in this song. It's like the bass drives this song. This song is nothing without the bass.
Yeah. Just remember what I wrote in my notes.
Uh-oh.
Helena is this rock opera-esque, giant, almost ballad-like construction. And then Give 'Em Hell is like, yeah, we're MCR, we're from New Jersey, and we're here to rip your face off. That's what I wrote down in my real life, in my real notes.
That's that, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
So I don't have a lot of friends.
I did want to talk about the bass line though, because Gerard said in his tweets about it that he ripped the bass line, the bass riff off of the song Hypocrite by Lush.
And he sure did.
This is where we will insert a clip. It's exactly the fucking same. I mean, it's, again, the basic chord structure. So, like, yeah, sure, you take a bass line from any other song and you put it to the same tempo. It might sound like that, but it's the same. It's kind of the same feel, the same production aspect of it. And it's the same key. Like,
whenever he mentions that he was inspired by something or, modeled a song after another song and you go listen to it, you're like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's it. I hear that for sure.
Because he also said that about Helena, that it was based on the song Aces High by Iron Maiden. And I forgot to mention that, but that's a thing. And if you listen to it, you're like, yep.
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
That is true.
I love, and I've said this so many times before, but I love that he's so open about his influences and that he's like, yeah, I got this from this song and this art and this person is what I based this off of. And I mean, yeah,
yeah.
that when he says he based something off of it, it is pretty damn close to the inspiration source.
But also, I think that's how the creative process works, and not enough people talk about it, but that's how you get things done, especially with music. It's how you discover how to play things, and it's how you discover ways that you can play something and make a song that's kind of a cousin to it,
Yeah. So this, and as I was saying about the chord structure being accessible, it's the same as Helena, but they throw a 7 chord in there for tension, and and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They're just like, all right, here's a 7 chord, and we're being really tense, and then we resolve it. And they get real sassy in this song as well. It's sassy punk rock.
How do they get sassy, Haley?
Gerard is the sassiest he has ever been.
Explain the sass.
He is peak revenge sassy in this song.
He really is. It's very, I use the word camp, which I know is like kind of political, but there are some camp elements to this, man.
Yeah. So first, the this part of the song. Sass. He's sassy.
And that, I mean, I think that goes with a Demolition Lover storyline, but the way he delivers it, he owns it a lot.
Yeah.
He sells it.
I would just rather than thinking of it in the storyline, I just want to think that Gerard is talking about walking down the street in a dress that he owns.
I think that's fine,
Yeah.
and it's not invalid. There's also storyline, which I'll get to in a second, but
I'm not super invested in the concept or storyline in this record.
I'm not either, just because I feel like in Bullets, because it was such a grab bag of an album and so many things were different, that when the storyline became apparent, you're like, I get it.
Yeah,
I get what this song
I can
is
follow
about.
this. I can follow that.
But this album is a lot tighter on its own musically, and so it's, you know, the storyline's in there, but it's not necessarily as notable as in Bullets.
Right. I think they kind of, I mean, they can base songs off of the storyline, but I think they kind of let go of it after a little while and weren't like super strict on maintaining that storyline and that concept after a while.
Yeah, I think it's more how it drove the lyric writing.
Yeah.
But as far as the storyline, so if you look at the song, I feel like it's a song that's split between the two lovers, where you've got some verses from the perspective of the alive man, you know, going on his adventure to kill 1,000 evil men, and then you have verses from the perspective of the dead woman who misses the dude and is waiting for him to come back. That's all I really have to say about the storyline. I think that's all that really there is. You know, he's going down to New Orleans with a stimulant in his system, ready to fuck shit up. Ephedrine.
Why did he choose ephedrine? Was it just that it fit lyrically or like syllabically? Or
I think that's probably the reason, and also that it's a stimulant.
Right.
So I think it's a very comic book way of picturing the storyline. I think we'll see that in future songs too, that the way that Gerard works it into the lyrics is very much as a story.
Yeah.
So I think the story of the album starts off with the guy's going down to the south, he's drugged up, he's ready to go, she's waiting, and like this is the beginning of the storyline for the album. And I think it develops in a really literal sense of plot and place. But to go back to the campy parts.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the campy parts are the best parts. And he's got these little like what-ohs in the background.
We are young and we don't care. Your dreams are your hopeless hair. We never wanted it to be this way.
Oh, I love those.
Which are so campy. And he sells that dress line. And he's got the ending part where he's speaking, I'm not kissing that guy.
Would you call me? Was the way I'm kissing that guy?
Yes, the ending part. That's the other thing that I wanted to mention was the ending part where he's just kind of like, I feel like that whole part was probably improv and they just happened to keep it in, because that's how Gerard formats a lot of the songs, is that he'll just kind of speak nonsense over the melody that he's come up with, or he comes up with the melody on the spot and just puts nonsense words into it. But I think that was something that he was just like, all right, I feel this in the moment. And then he was just talking and yelling at the end, and they just were like, oh yeah, that's cool, let's keep it.
Yeah, and we can talk about, you know, MCR's stage presence all we want, but even in their recorded songs on their albums, they were still here to challenge heteronormativity
Hell yeah.
and rock and roll, and I'm here for it.
Okay, this is the first time they mentioned murder scene.
Murder scene, murder scene. We are in a murder scene. Sorry, what were you saying?
I wanted to talk about how a murder scene is something that comes up a couple times in his lyrics in Revenge. The other one that's coming to me off the top of my head is Venom. But other than that, I don't know if there's any other instances of it, but there's at least two, which for a lyricist that plans everything out like that, you know, there's probably some kind of connection.
Yeah.
Or that he's just obsessed with the concept of murder scenes, which is valid.
It's very possible. I don't think we should rule that out, considering his proclivity towards blood and stab wounds. There are some phrases that he repeats a couple times. He repeats Starless Eyes. He repeats Murder Scene. He repeats the adjective sharpest. Like, he has a line about the sharpest things in the song, and then he also has the sharpest lives in Parade. And he also had a tweet about this, because Gerard did another thing where he listened to the album and tweeted about it. He tweeted about it less than Bullets, but that's fine. No grudge.
I'm not bitter or anything. It's fine.
His tweet about this was, "Give 'em hell, hands down my fave song to play live. It's like riding a cruise missile. Demo version had fake French in it. I still miss it."
What the fuck does fake French mean? Where was it? I want to hear it. Gerard, where's the demo?
I imagine it being where the end part is about kissing that guy. I imagine it replacing that.
I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe...
You know who has the demo?
Frank.
Francis.
Franklin.
Francesca. He's got it. He won't share it. This song is very fast. How long is this song? It's very short.
Yeah, it's not, it doesn't linger.
It comes and it goes.
Yes.
And it's punk as fuck. The guitar, this is really where you can tell that they simplify the guitars, because the verses, guitar-wise, are so simple, and they're like 3-chord punk. And you're like, this is great. I'm good to go.
Yep. That's what I got.
It's just like pure energy. I love it.
Yes. Gosh, I love that song. I always forget how much I love that song until I go back and listen to it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a bop.
It's because you come out of Helena and you're like, it's been this big, production.
Emotional roller coaster.
And then suddenly you hear this bass line, you're like, oh
Just
my
go.
God. It's like the roller coaster is starting and you're like, yes.
Yes, we're climbing up.
Climbing up is just the bass, and then the rest of the song is just dropping.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else to say?
Not a thing.
So the next song is To the End.
He calls the mansion not a house but a tomb. He's always choking from the stench and the fume. The wedding party all collapsed in the room. So send my resignation to the bride and the groom. Let's go down. This elevator only goes up.
The first thing I have to say about the song is the right channel, though.
Yes.
Is so good. And so many times I listen to the song and I take my left headphone out and just listen to Gerard's vocals on the right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great experience. If you haven't done it, I recommend it.
Yeah, it's always a good thing.
So good.
We talk about his obsession with intense whispering, which crops back up in Sharpest Lives in Black Parade.
Sometimes you gotta whisper.
And he's real intense about it too.
It's really difficult to whisper intensely, so
It's
Respect.
it's not good for your voice.
no,
sure.
it feels bad when you do
It
it.
feels bad, man.
This is that Pro Tools shit. But this song also has backing vocals that are like insane.
Oh yeah, they go hard with backing vocals on this one. They were like,
Harmonies
"Oh yeah,
everywhere.
hey Ray, you wanna do this thing?"
Get in here.
She's got a life of her own and it shows by the bed. She's got 90 by the Barbies and Kens. To the life you take, to the life you make.
Yeah, the backing vocals are nuts on this.
Yes.
And this is also, they mix their guitars really well in the song. There's a lot of rhythmic guitars for sure. But Ray also does a good amount of lead guitar and soloing in this.
I have so much to say about Ray's guitar in this fucking song.
Talk about it.
Okay, so they said that they were gonna simplify things and pare things down, and we're like, all right, we're not gonna shove everything into one bar, but he fucking keeps it going. He fought for this. You can tell, because he puts everything into this song. It's constantly moving. If you listen to the song and you just hone in on Ray's guitar, it never stops. It's just constantly like it's
Just like that.
the whole thing is that.
She keeps a picture of the body she lives. Got nasty blisters from the money she spends.
And it's not overwhelming either, because you can still focus on everything else going on in the song. You can still focus on Gerard singing in the song. So it's not like Ray's guitar is super overwhelming and you can't hear
No.
anything else, but it's still constantly rolling in the background and you can hear it if you focus on it.
Yeah, in the verses there's the constant lead, and then right in the lead up to the chorus, he does more things, but he's mixed down, so you don't hear him very obviously. And then the chorus, he just goes for it. And then they have a break for him to solo.
Oh.
And this becomes a My Chemical Romance like signature thing, giving an instrumental break for Ray to solo, because he's like their ace in the hole.
Well, that's pretty standard for most rock songs and for most
But they don't have Ray.
especially for like hair metal bands or like for
Yeah.
for metal bands in general, you have a break for the guitar to do a solo.
And Ray, he's so good at it.
Yeah.
He's so good because like they have this break. Like other songs for sure have like breaks and solos, but Ray's are just better. They're just better.
I want to point out, because I just remembered it, that a lot of the harmonies and a lot of the little things that you hear in the background, we have no way of discerning which guitarist is doing that, but live, a lot of it is Frank. And I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Sometimes you can tell when you're listening to a song which one's Frank and which one's Ray based on which parts they do. Because they stay in the same channel. So if you hear a solo in one channel, that channel's Ray.
Okay.
For the most part. But in Revenge especially, there's a lot of overlapping small bits.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of it is Frank. And a lot of people, I think, don't realize that he does a lot of that intricate stuff. And they're like, he's just doing the rhythm and stuff. But, like, that's not all he does.
No, especially live, because Ray, he does the rhythm because Ray needs to do the power chords so that he can transition into the soloing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the solo here,
it's very metal.
insane. Now, if Gerard would shut up for a minute with his whoa-hoes, you hear the solo in the background, and it's just incredible.
I think the biggest change from Bullets to Revenge, as far as like Ray's soloing, I think structurally they're really similar. They're really metal-based, but I think he goes a little bit slower than he wants to, and that he does in Bullets.
Right.
So you can actually appreciate it.
Yeah. Like, Ray, my ear can't follow this fast. You need to slow down. But he does a little bit. And that, I also think, is part of Howard Benson's influence, is that they're like, all right, you got to make this more accessible for people. You can't just show off all the time, and you can show off a little bit, but, like, take it down a notch, you know? But, I mean, it's still sufficient. Like, he's still incredible, and that comes across in this song especially, I feel.
Yeah, and regarding Howard Benson, there was a quote that Frank had in an article that we referenced earlier about working with Howard, where he would listen to it. Or did we talk about this already? Sometimes he would listen to it and he'd be like, I can't believe that's us playing. That they sounded so much better than they sounded when they were live recording it, or that they thought they sounded.
Right.
So I think there is something about the production that they hadn't done before, where the way that Howard made them more legible about pulling certain things out and mixing things differently made it sound fundamentally different than how they used to sound, and how sometimes they even sound live, because you have those parts in different channels, and because, you know, there's like a soft guitar part where live it's just whatever sound's coming out. So
right,
that is a thing.
Yeah, this song is also based off of, at least partially, Blur's To the End, which obviously title is the same.
Yeah,
I don't know how much song wise. I mean, I don't. Have you listened to it?
No, we can do it right now.
Okay. All right. Officially no influence from Blur's To the End. I think they just were like, oh, yeah, I like that title. We're going to take it. Not even going to put it in a clip because there's nothing to compare it to. Go listen to it if you want. But not to diss on Blur or anything. I just don't see a comparison between the two. But, there could be. Maybe Gerard drew a comparison that we're not hearing. But it is also based heavily on A Rose for Emily, the short story.
By William Faulkner.
I read this short story and, first of all, was alarmed by the language in it. I forget that it was written
it's old
not
school.
in our time.
Sometimes you grow up in the South in the early 1900s, and
sometimes words are acceptable then and that are not acceptable now. But long story short, this is my summation of it, which is not eloquent. If you would like to do an eloquent summation of it, then you are more than welcome to, but for anyone who has not read it.
My first 5 words of my summation, which I did write out, are Emily is a rich bitch. So would you like me to continue my summation?
I mean, that sounds good to me.
Okay, here it goes. Emily is a rich bitch in Mississippi.
Hell yeah.
Who everyone dislikes and who can't find a husband until she does. And his name is Homer. And people are like, well, this is a weird couple since Homer seems to like dudes more than anything, but okay. And then one day Emily goes to buy arsenic for unspecified reasons and is pretty fucking insistent about it. And then nobody ever sees Homer again. And people are like, well, this is weird, but I guess he's just a homebody. And then Emily's house really smells and no one wants to tell her about it, and then she dies. And people look in her house because they're curious townspeople. And who the fuck is there but Homer's corpse in her bed where she had presumably killed him for not being into her, and then been sleeping with him this whole damn time, as is evident by them finding a strand of her hair on the pillow beside him. That is my summary.
That's it.
It's very literal in the song
Yeah.
that it's inspired by this, and I think it is not necessarily about the story, but that he incorporated the story into the Demolition Lovers storyline.
Right.
But you can tell that it's in there because it's got lines like, he's not around, he's always looking at men. If you marry me, would you bury me?
Mm-hmm.
I think a song that has to do with your lover murdering you is very My Chemical Romance.
Something that he is really into for some reason.
So into it.
I don't know if he just thinks it's aesthetic or it's dramatic or...
all of the above.
Yeah. Yeah, this song is very much about, like, marriage and being in love, but also toxic. And
I also wrote down, Gerard loves the homoeroticism in this story.
yes, he does.
It's really got everything for him.
Yeah, he's like, man, this is it. This is everything I want in
You've got
a story.
a lover murdering their spouse, and the spouse is gay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's for him.
Yeah, for sure.
But the way that they integrated this story in with Demo Lovers, I think you can see that mostly in the ending verse where it has a line, "the choice you made," because that sounds more like the protagonist is judging whoever he has killed
Right.
for the evil choices they have made. I'm not sure who he's killed because obviously in the story Emily kills her husband.
Yeah.
So I'm not exactly sure who might be the victim of this dude.
I'm not
Maybe it's the people in the pool, because that's not in the story.
Yeah.
There's people face down in the pool.
I don't know. It might be one of those songs that he switches perspectives on a lot.
Yeah.
So we just don't know unless, he were here to tell us about it at Gerard.
Gerard, we're going to be at North Carolina Comic Con, and if you could get us a press pass and we can interview you, that would be great.
We got a few questions for you, so...
Oh, but I also feel like this song really fits with Give 'Em Hell because Faulkner's a Southern writer and this takes place in Mississippi, and the last one took place in Louisiana. So in a really literal way, I think it might be a continuation of this storyline because Mississippi seems like a really logical next stop if you're in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
I think the comic book is coming out.
Right.
As far as lines that appear in other things, there's the line, "This elevator only goes up to 10, which is one of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
And Hesitant Alien in the Bureau, he also has a line that says, "Elevator, please direct me to level 10.
Mm-hmm.
So in Hesitant Alien, it might be a callback to this, or maybe it's just a line that he likes a lot, likes the sound of, who can say. And also at the end of the song, he references The Last Parade, and I see that. I see that foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing. I love foreshadowing to future records.
I see that shit, Gerard.
It does not go unnoticed. All right. So we're going to talk about Faust
Cool.
and how he has influenced Gerard. First, story of Faust. Do you know it off the top of your head? Because if not, I'll do it, but you could probably do it better than I could.
I just know it really generalized, not because I've read Faust, but because I've read a lot of stories based on Faust. That's why I know it. Isn't that dumb?
No.
So you go ahead and explain. I know from The Master of Margarita. Anyone out there a fan?
Oh my god.
Call me. I'm going to get a tattoo of that.
Are you really?
Oh, yeah. It's planned. It's on my list.
Oh boy. All right.
You would love it.
I bet. Okay. So Faust is the protagonist of a German legend. He's based on a real historical figure. Nobody cares.
Fuck that guy.
That guy's unimportant. So he's a successful aristocrat, basically, but he's dissatisfied with his life.
As you do.
So he makes a deal with the devil.
As you do.
Yes. He exchanges his soul for unlimited knowledge and worldly pleasures.
Not smart. Never do that.
Yeah. And it's basically like it's been reinterpreted so many times through everything, Phantom of the Paradise being one of them, which we can touch on at another time, which we touched on a little bit already, but I feel like we should dig a little bit further into it in regards to its influences on Gerard specifically.
I want that to be like a video episode. We need visuals.
Well, we can have a live watching of it with the crew.
The crew.
Yeah.
I didn't know we had one, but cool.
Yeah, we have a crew. So, and it's become such a prolific, prominent story in I don't know, I don't want to use pop culture, but just culture in general.
European culture.
Yeah, and culture in general, I guess, that to say you're in a Faustian situation or a Faustian story, like people know what you're talking about when you say that. And it implies a situation in which like an ambitious person gives up a moral integrity that they have to achieve success or to achieve power. So basically giving up your morals to achieve things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically, I mean...
We should also point out that it was an opera.
Yes, it was an
That's
opera.
a very important part.
Yes, no, yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Phantom of the Paradise is literally on the Wikipedia page for Faust. This is amazing. Yeah, but basically that's what it boils down to, is someone giving up moral integrity to achieve something, and it's a lot of, making deals with the devil kind of thing. And obviously that's the whole concept for this record that Gerard has come up with, is someone making a deal with the devil to regain his love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that Gerard is kind of obsessed with this concept about, making this deal with this really dark force, this really like dark entity that you if you do this, you can achieve things that you wouldn't be able to otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why that is, if it's just like a psychological thing that he needs to talk to someone about, or or if it's just like, this is a cool concept, I want to run with it.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna, throw my vote in for cool concept because it is such a pervasive concept.
Yeah.
And so much great art has been made based on it.
Mm-hmm.
But we do also know that when he was having his drinking problem, he felt like he had to do that to be Gerard
Yeah.
on stage. And so maybe it comes a little bit from that, a feeling that he had to exchange who he was personally to an evil force being like drugs or alcohol
Right.
or acting differently to be successful.
Yeah, to
on
achieve the
stage.
persona on stage.
I'm not going to say that like that's the reason, but I do think that there's a parallel there in his personal life.
Yeah, there's definitely a parallel. And obviously it's a real person's life, and it's not something that, he made a conscious decision about like, all right, I'm going to pull this and this is what it's going to be like. It's just, it's just that there's kind of an ironic parallel between Faust's story and his own, and the fact that he's so obsessed with the story.
And he said in like some sort of revenge interview, I think with Tom Bryant, that after he got sober, he felt really invalid and that he was like faking things because he didn't know how to be on stage sober.
Yeah.
Because he felt like he had to be drunk to be quote unquote Gerard way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's the parallel or something.
Yeah. And I feel that we can explore that part later, is how he acted on stage, when he got sober, and how that affected their performance and how that affected his songwriting. I think because most of Revenge was written while he was still under the influence. I think most of it.
Most to all.
Yeah.
For sure.
So
he wasn't like deliberately sober. He may have been incidentally sober sometimes.
Right. Yeah. So I think that really influenced his mindset on tour for Revenge, is he was still kind of stuck in that under the influence feel, because he was like, all these songs are associated with me being under the influence because I was drunk during this time period, or I was drunk when I wrote this, or this is associated with this drunk time period or whatever.
When we get to Prison, my God.
Oh boy.
Prison is where that is most prevalent, and I cannot wait to talk about Prison.
I'm very excited.
Oh, is that like 2 episodes from now or something?
I think it's next episode.
Oh my God, is it? If so, that's incredible. I'm so excited that it's next episode.
So Prison is next, then I'm Not Okay, then Ghost of You. And then after that is Jet Set Life, interlude. Thank you.
The next episode is going to be so lit.
Gonna be lit! Because we have a friend.
Yes, we may have a guest. We will not reveal them yet.
Gotta wait. I'm very excited about this. All right.
I think that's all for this first episode of Revenge.
Yeah.
Get hyped for Revenge. It's such a different feeling than Bullets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very hyped for it.
Though I do kind of miss Bullets. I listened to Bullets today.
I do miss Bullets a little bit,
I didn't forget it.
I miss the mess.
I miss the mess. I miss the jersey.
They haven't let go of Jersey yet. They're still in Jersey. They're still there.
I know, but it doesn't sound like Jersey.
Yeah, well.
It doesn't sound like Jersey anymore.
Just listen to the bass riff from Give 'Em Hell.
Okay.
And you're in Jersey.
That is the most Jersey part.
Yeah. And a lot of these concepts we'll explore in future episodes, and we'll expand upon a lot of stuff.
The good thing about Revenge, and also the scary thing about Revenge, is that the content, like, triples.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's a lot more thought put into things now. There's a lot more to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
So these episodes might get longer.
Oh boy.
Just deal with it, dudes.
Yeah, it'll be all right. All right. So that is all we have for you today. Do we have anything else we want to say before we wrap up?
If you want to follow us on social media,
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter, at Chemical Fancast, Instagram, at Chemical Fancast, Facebook, My Chemical Fancast. You want to send us an email for any reason except to yell at us, which is not allowed. We're at
It's illegal.
we're at mychemicalfancast@gmail.com. If you are the sixth pallbearer in Helena, please send us an email. Please find us. I don't know how to find you. I think your name is Cameron. Cameron, please talk to us.
Oh my goodness gracious. If you want to be our new best friend, you can review us on iTunes. Kindly.
5 whole stars.
5 stars.
And maybe some words to go with the stars.
Oh, words are great.
Oh my god, we love words.
I love words. All right. Get hyped for the next episode because we are already hyped and you will be hyped.
That's a promise.
Promise. I promise. So, till next time, I'm Haley.
And I'm Kat.
And this is My Chemical Fancast.
Cue the new outro.
Hell yeah about that new outro.
And record.